Men of the world and men of God are two different things. Each has different rites of passages that you go through to be defined as a man. In modern society, men of the world are defined as people who have driver's license, people with their first full-time job, people who are married and have kids. But in reality, men of the world are just overgrown children of the world. They indulge their temptations, whether it be sex, drugs, alcohol, sports, and they embrace their anger, their aggression. Men of the world are typically seen as very competitive and ruthless. They lift the most, drink the most, own the most. You gotta be the most, right? You gotta be on top. That's what makes you a man. However, men of God are different. Men of God are called to live like Jesus and love like Jesus. So instead of being isolated, men are made to live in fellowship. In the Bible, there are four different types of love. There's philia, which is friendship, storge, which is family, eros, erotic, but today we're going to focus on agape love, which is godly love. So godly love is self-giving love that gives with no expectation of receiving. If you read 1 Corinthians 13, it takes you through that, right? So what is agape love? Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. It is not rude, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with truth. Now, verse 7 is where I think man encompasses this type of love, right? So it always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. Love never fails, but where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. And now these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. So a way to show love is through compassion, right? Having compassion for people who are struggling in different areas and showing them that you're living in fellowship with them. You are walking alongside them, there to grow with them, there to live life with them, experience life. And according to Luke 6, compassion needs to be given to all people. If you have love for those who love you, what benefit is that to you? For even sinners love those who love them. And if you do good to those who do good to you, what benefit is that to you? For even sinners do the same. And if you lend to those whom you expect to receive, what credit is that to you? Even sinners lend to sinners to get back the same amount. But love your enemies and do good and lend, expecting nothing in return, and your reward will be great, and you will be sons of the Most High, for he is kind to the ungrateful and evil. Be merciful even as your Father is merciful. So we must be motivated by a true and genuine love, just like Jesus. Not expecting something in return, but doing things because we love them. Going out of our way to do something that most people probably wouldn't do. We are called to reach people and share God out of genuine love. Judah Smith quotes, "Without compassion, our efforts to reach people will start out strong, on an emotional high, and then slowly fade as our lives get busy and we realize the immense cost of getting involved in people's lives." When you get involved in people's lives, it's more than just saying, "Hey, how are you?" It's taking the moment to stop, talk to them, get involved in their lives, doing life with them. And that's a large sacrifice. When you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. So when you say yes to be a part of someone's life, you may be saying no to the sports game, no to your alone time, no to your hobbies. And so that's why people in modern society kind of take a step back from getting involved in other people's lives. Let's read Mark 1:40 through 42. "And the leper came to him, imploring him, and kneeling said to him, 'If you will, you can make me clean.' Moved with pity, he stretched out his hand and touched him and said to him, 'I will. be clean. And immediately the leprosy left him, and he was made clean. A leper is someone who was known as ceremonially unclean. So people were afraid to touch them, people were afraid to even be near them, associate with them, as it says in Leviticus 13:45-46. But Jesus was not only afraid to talk with him and associate with him, but to touch him and show him love. He showed compassion and wasn't afraid. His touch, in fact, made the leper clean. He stretched out his hand. He didn't just say, "Hey, you're clean now." He stretched out his hand. Leprosy rotted away the flesh of the body. In the same way, sin rots away the life of the body. You can't avoid people in the church because they're sinners. You can't avoid people out of the church because they're sinners. How are you supposed to speak life into them and love on them? I had a friend who, she went through so much stuff in high school and would be one of those people who wouldn't be caught dead in a church. Knew that there was a God, but never experienced the love of God, never wanted to because of the people in the church. I did life with her, and I still do life with her. She's like a sister to me. And now she goes to chapel every Monday. She goes to the gathering every Tuesday. She comes to church every once in a while. She's just taking these active steps towards God because she experienced what it's like when someone actually shows that love of God. And it takes a man of God to reach out, to invest in these people, expecting nothing in return. So we have to be willing to do that. We have to be willing as men to stretch past our comfort zones to what God is calling us to do. My senior year of high school, we took a trip to Northern California, and there we had a pine cone ceremony. And in this ceremony, people said things that really stuck out to me that made me realize it's the small things that you do to people that really matter. Throughout the ceremony, you were supposed to say something good about a person or what they've done or what you appreciate about them. People thanked me for things that I didn't even realize were a big deal. People pointed out that every morning I would smile at them and ask them about their day and actually ask them questions and pay attention to their life and what they were telling me and not just accept the minimum answer of, "I'm good, I'm fine." And to me, that's just always been my personality, to know people and learn people and grow in our relationship. It never really came across to my mind that for most people that's out of their comfort zone. They don't go out and invest in people and ask them, "How are you actually doing today?" or even give them a smile. Another story was we were hiking on our senior trip, and there were a few people there who were having a difficult time hiking the distance we did, so I stayed back with them at the back of the line, and I encouraged them and I helped them and I let them know that, hey, we can make this hike, we can make it to the waterfall, and I'm right here next to you. Again, it was not something that they were used to. My school was primarily filled with people who were not Christians and did not know the love of God. They were great people, they were really nice people, but they didn't have this extra overflowing love. Remembering people's names, smiling to them, and listening to their stories and their struggles is actually a huge way of showing compassion and showing love. It's saying, hey, I have an interest in you, I care about you, I want the best for you, how can I help? How can I be a part of that? You are important to me, you are important to God. So God asks us to put that extra effort, that extra oomph, and take time to invest in people. I want you to remember 1 Peter 1:22. Having purified your souls by your obedience to the truth for a sincere brotherly love, love one another earnestly from a pure heart. So when you're loving someone, don't do it with the mindset of, I have to love them. It should be out of pure, you want to love them. And if you can't do that at this point, you need to build your relationship more with God, because He's going to fill that cup up full of love that He has for you, that it overflows. And that overflow goes to other people without you even acknowledging it or recognizing that that's what it's from. Real love has compassion.